He says, Al-kafiruna ba'aduhum awliya'u ba'd. The kuffar are constantly building alliances amongst themselves. Shall I repeat it? Al-kafiruna awliya ba'aduhum awliya'u ba'd. The kuffar are constantly building alliances amongst themselves. Illam taf'alu, if you do not do the same, if you do not reach out to build alliances with the non-Muslim people who are closest in love and affection for you, illam taf'aluhu takun fitnatun fil ardi wa fasadun kabir. If you do not do that, there will be fitna and great fasad in the world. Is it not time for us to listen to Allah? Is it not time for us to listen to the Quran? Is it not time for us to turn to the Quran, that the Quran will help us to prepare for the events which are still to come, in which the conquest of Constantinople is the most important of all? The hadith then ends, Fathul Constantiniya Khurujud Dajjal. Which hadith? The one with Mu'az ibn Jabal, quoted in the Sunan of Abi Dawood. Yeah. The end of the hadith, Fathul Constantiniya Khurujud Dajjal. That after the conquest of Constantinople, only then will Dajjal make his appearance in human form. Prior to this, Dajjal is already in the world, but you can't see him. But he waits until the conquest of Constantinople to make his appearance. Why? Because now it's there around the neck of Israel. Israel can't get away now. Finish. Dajjal took them for a ride. It's the last ride on which they'll ever go. And now they'll face the end that Fir'aun faced when he was drowning. They will end the same way that Fir'aun ended. That at the end, when they're being destroyed, defeated, and the rocks and the stones will speak and say, Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me, come and kill him. That's the end of Israel. They will now realize the truth that Fir'aun realized underneath the water. And they will die accepting that truth, as Fir'aun died accepting the truth and knowing you're going into the hellfire. And that's why Allah preserved the body of Fir'aun. The body was discovered when? In 1898, just after the Zionist movement was established. The sign for the world that the events which will now unfold in the world would be a repeat. The world history will repeat itself. That the epic encounter between truth and falsehood, between Fir'aun and Musa, will now be reenacted in the historical process. And history will end the way it ended, underneath the water. This is Islamic eschatology. And I pray that Allah may bless all those who now in their hearts get a fire. I want to study this subject. It's more important to me than a PhD in business management. I want to study this subject. I want that Allah should help me, that I get the knowledge with which to be able to understand the reality of the world today, using the Quran and using the hadith of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul alim wa tub alayna ya maulana innaka anta at-tawwabur rahim bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Amin. We have some time before Maghrib. Should we have questions? Okay, Dr. Rosli is in charge. And Dr. Rosli says you have a chance to ask any questions you want. Yeah. Number one. One, oh, only one question at it. One.
As your studies of this Zaman, it's a gift to us all to study. And how do you want us as a student to carry on the legacy? It's a subject of this particular thing to the people, especially in Singapore.
The question is, you would like us to study Islamic eschatology or ilmu akhirul zaman, but when we study the subject, what's the method by which we could teach it to others? Okay. My latest book, just published 1 month ago or 2 months ago, is called Methodology for the Study of the Quran. I don't have a volunteer as yet to translate it to Bahasa, Malaysia. We have someone translating it to Bahasa Indonesia. So would Bahasa Indonesia work here? Huh? If we publish it? Indonesia? Because I'm not getting any volunteer to translate it to Bahasa Malaysia. But suddenly strangely I found many Malay people who know the English language prefer to read the English than the Malay. Yes. So I would suggest to you, study that book, Methodology for Study of the Quran. The method of teaching eschatology is different from other subjects, because Khidr alayhi salam made a distinction between the student who comes all puffed up, I am the elite of mankind, the Jews, Banu Israel. And Khidr alayhi salam said, you can't be my student. No. إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ الصَّبْرَ. You can't show patience with me. وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا. And how can you be patient in respect of that knowledge which lies beyond your capacity to comprehend? How can you be patient in respect of knowledge which lies beyond your capacity to comprehend? وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا. If you want to study with me, then my condition is, don't ask any questions. Don't ask me any question. A teacher doesn't teach that way. No. A teacher has to be showing and guiding his student gently and being patient with the student. But this Khidr is saying to Musa alayhi salam, don't ask me any questions. No, I will explain to you, cutting him down to size. When you teach ilmu akhirul zaman, the methodology of teaching is that when you find people who are uncomfortable with you, who are in doubt concerning what you are saying, then say to them very plainly and clearly, and don't do it with any arrogance and pride. Just say to them, please don't accept anything I say unless you're convinced that it's correct. And there are many other scholars. Go to them. When, on the other hand, you find a student in whose heart there is hunger, there is humility, he does not consider himself puffed up with pride. And secondly, this is a student who is not like a sponge, Anything you say, he accepts it. That's a dangerous student. Huh? This is a student with critical thinking. And he critically analyzes whatever is taught. And only when he is convinced that it is correct, then he accepts it. Oh, now you have a student.